because in YouTube, everyone's like, WWDC in 10 minutes, here's everything you need to know. I'm like, no, chill. I just want to chat. Let's chat, you know? All right, people, Dub 2025, what do you think? I think it was really good, right? There were really solid updates. This video is just going to be my thoughts. I'm not going to teach you anything new. I'm just going to assume that you did your homework already and know everything. Plus, I'm like 3 days late, so they released so many new things that if I miss like half of them, calm down. There's a lot to talk about. Let's chill, chat, go make a coffee. We'll make this short. Go make coffee. Even my mug is liquid glass. That's so funny. This video is just going to be my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. While you're down there, like and subscribe. Should we start, shall we? The biggest thing in the UI overhaul they talked about was liquid glass, and I kind of do like it actually. Everything is way more visual, and I feel like there's gonna be like a day or 2 or 3 like to get used to this new glassy look. And now that the developer beta is out, everyone's posting, you know, comparisons of iOS 19 and 26. And plus, okay, 26, it does make sense, but that jump is so huge. Going from 18 to 26 is insane. It does make sense, like especially for regular users. They're like, okay, which iOS version we are on? If I just tell you that, you know, it's the same as the year, you're gonna remember that. It's just gonna be easier for all your platforms. And it's so hilarious that the Vision OS literally just went from Vision 1 to 26. Literally off the charts. Okay, going back to the liquid glass. Of course, Apple needs to name everything. This is a really good name. Liquid glass. It's glass that acts like liquid. Ooh, fancy. Like I was looking at comparison videos from iOS 19 to 26. Like especially when you pull down to see the lock screen for notifications. Like, you know, in the previous one, it's like going blurred to the lock screen. But now there's like literally no transition. You pull it down, like this blob of glass comes down. But that really makes me question, like, what if you have a different wallpaper for your lock screen? Because it's see-through and there is no transition. How is it gonna transition to that other lock screen? I don't know, it's really confusing. And generally, I do like Liquid OS. I feel like, you know, it's gonna take a minute to get used to, but once we're used to it, we were like, ooh, this is kind of cool. Now transitioning from Liquid OS to iOS. Did I say Liquid OS? Oh my god, Liquid Glass. Glass OS, same thing. I do have my notes right here and I'm gonna read a couple of them. It says translation on live phone calls, AI answers scam calls before you answer, group messages now have polls, finally. Oh my god, like WhatsApp didn't have that already. Plus custom backgrounds, a new camera UI, and visual intelligence are some of the things they released, other than all the liquidy UI things. The new camera UI made me trip up a bit because it looks like way too clean and I'm not used to that. But again, realistically, all I'm doing is literally taking pictures or video. That's why they have, you know, the 2 main ones at the bottom. And I actually love the way you can just change the video frame rates, the quality, just clicking at the top bottom and there's like a drop down that comes up. I really like that in phone calls, you know, AI can just wait on hold and notify you when the agent actually comes. Because the amount of time I have to wait for Verizon customer service, oh my god. Where was this feature like a couple months ago? Even though you're not going to use it all the time, it's a, you know, life quality improvement. The group messages now have polls and custom backgrounds. I really like custom backgrounds. It really looks like exactly like Instagram DMs. I was watching the keynote with my friend. We just looked at each other and we're like, oh, that's just Instagram DMs. It's literally what it is. And going back to the lock screen, now you can have 2D pictures turn into 3D, so when you move your phone, you'll have that sense of depth. I think it looks really cool. And lastly, I do want to talk about visual intelligence, the more AI, Apple Intelligence things they did. In phone calls or text or FaceTime, you can just speak naturally and AI, Apple Intelligence, will translate your language into the language of the other person, and everything is done locally. I feel like it will work awesome in text messages. I don't know how great it will be in phone calls or FaceTime. And with visual intelligence, you can just take a screenshot and then tap an object on the screen to search it on Google. Circle to search. And of course, with this keynote, they just butchered Siri, and the way they implemented was like future, and these all work with Apple Intelligence. And I was like, okay, so do I need a phone that has Apple Intelligence? Because I use a 13 Pro. Like turning 2D pictures into 3D or phone call hold. And there's also scam message filtering on messages. They said they all work with Apple Intelligence. And I'm like, okay, so are we getting those features, or do you need a 15 Pro or better iPhone? Because if that's the case, older iPhones are not getting any new features. It's just the visual change. That really tripped me up, the way they implement implemented Apple Intelligence into like normal features to make it look like it was Apple Intelligence, but are they actually Apple Intelligence features? Because from what I understand, only translation and visual intelligence are like the 15 Pro or better iPhones Apple Intelligence features, and rest are just normal iOS 2026 or shit 26. This was iOS. Now to macOS. The new macOS is called Tahoe. No, it's not the car, it's a lake. It's a lake in California. I thought it was the car at first, I don't know. And of course macOS gets the hit of liquid glass. Everything is way more cleaner, see-through, and more customizable. And again, for my notes, a quick rundown of what's new in macOS. A menu bar is gone, updated spotlight, I'm gonna get to that. Customizable folders with emojis and colors. Shortcuts now use Apple Intelligence, and control center customization, just like the iPhone. I really like the UI overhaul that macOS had, especially like the top bar being gone. Oh my god, it is literally the best thing ever. And now with control center, it's exactly just like the iPhone. You can put different functions, take it out, customize it however you like. And talking about the spotlight, they really updated that. Updated in a way they just sucked all the features from Raycast, which I'm all here for, don't get me wrong. For us power users, we all use Spotlight, and having actions to do on the Spotlight is literally the best thing ever. And now it's being built in is incredible. Like sending a message, setting up a timer, you can do all kind of crazy custom actions you want. Clipboard is literally like the best thing they could have added to the whole macOS. I love it so much. Also, recent files is great. You can just drag and drop, open it quickly. You don't have to go to the Finder. And also Spotlight uses more natural language. You can just type more conversationally. Everything is much more customizable, you know, like the folders. Now we can just change the color of it, add an emoji. It's kind of like the color tags they have, but now it's for actual folders. The organization will be incredible. And on Mac, Shortcuts app was also updated. I thought the way they would update it is like you will type to Apple Intelligence and it will do the whole shortcuts automatically. But the way they update it is you have to do your own shortcuts, and you can use Apple Intelligence like writing features or image creation in your own shortcuts. And they also opened up Apple Intelligence as an API for everybody to use, which I'm all about that. But also I'm like, the only reason I don't use shortcuts is because it's so complicated. So complicated in a way like I just don't understand how like the steps work. If Apple Intelligence did the hard work automatically, I feel like it'll be way more useful for everybody. And yeah, they released a lot of things, and if I start to talk about all of them, we're gonna be here for an hour. But do you know what else looks like macOS? iPadOS. That thing looks exactly like it. Like 2 days ago, the gap between Mac and iPad was like this big, but now it's like right here because they made it look exactly like a Mac. I thought they would never do that, but they added tabs, they had controls, even window minimization, close, the traffic buttons. It is exactly macOS. And that little gap is because iPad cannot run normal desktop apps. Like for example, in the keynote they showed Photoshop or Lightroom, and it still uses Lightroom Mobile, not the actual desktop version of Lightroom. And even with Apple's, Final Cut Pro, it's the mobile version of Final Cut Pro, not the actual full version of desktop. I mean, they can do it. It's literally the same chip as the Mac, but would they though? Absolutely not. This is literally the closest thing we're gonna get to a Mac. And again, they changed so many things on the iPad that like, what are we gonna get in the future? 2 days ago, iPad was just a bigger iPhone. You couldn't do much, but now it's just like a Mac. If they update it too much, is it gonna like overpower the iPad? I'm not sure, but I am sure of the things they updated. Again, my notes coming. I love it. They have real window control. You can close, resize, minimize, just like on a Mac. The preview app comes to the iPad, also on an iPhone, to view the PDFs more easily, just like on a Mac. Updated Files app, just like on a Mac. The dock is also updated to act more like on a Mac. I'm gonna be saying that all the time. The menu bar comes with app commands and settings, just like on a Mac. You can assign different mics and speakers to different apps, just like on a Mac. Long processes like video exports now can run in backgrounds, just like on a Mac. And the journal app from the iPhone comes to the iPad. Okay, first of all, journaling should have been on the iPad at the first place. This like bigger screen, if you want to write, take notes, journal. That was so dumb of them. But again, there's so many features that looks exactly like a Mac. And I'm not saying to like shit on iPad. I actually do like the new features, and it should have been like this. iPad was a bigger bigger screened iPhone, but now it's just a Mac with a touch screen. They have all the window controls, the traffic lights, even app control settings at the top. That is going to unlock so many new features to do inside the apps. I'm not a big iPad user. I don't even like iPads. But if I want like desktop-like a computer, I would just get a Mac. But for people that uses their iPad for everything, which I do have a couple of friends, is going to be really game-changing, and not just use the iPad to watch Netflix or YouTube or something. And yeah, I'm looking at my notes again. Other than they made the iPad look more like a Mac, they didn't change much. Okay, no, they changed a lot, but that was the only thing they did. It's like this combination of an iPhone and a Mac. You know, it's a bigger screen. It can do both things. If you want to watch content, it's an iPhone. If you want to do more, you know, heavy work, it's a Mac. I really do like where they took the iPad. Now going from iPadOS to the watchOS, honestly, they didn't update much other than a workout buddy. Really? A workout buddy? Are we kidding? Oh my god, it's so stupid. I don't want someone screaming in my ear like, you can do this. Let's go. Just turn up my music, literally. Like all these years, you could have added sleep scores. Such a useful feature. Every single smart wearable device has it. But no, you decided to go and make an AI coach that screams in your ear. Really? I need to calm down. But one thing they added that I also really like is the wrist flick. Like when you get a notification, instead of going like clicking dismiss, you can just do wrist flick, and then it will just dismiss the notification. Hello, Editing Dennis here. I just learned the wrist flick feature is only for the Apple Watch Series 9, 10, and Ultra 2. Why? I'm gonna lose my mind. Like, it doesn't require anything crazy. It's just like the gyroscope moving. Like, you had one good feature and you just block it for everybody else. Because it's intelligently tracking your wrist. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's the most stupidest thing you can ever done. I'm not angry. I'm just so disappointed. Apple, this is for you. Go. Yeah, there you go. Boo. Okay, go back to the video. But honestly, other than the wrist flick, I hate every single feature they released for the watchOS, not macOS. And yeah, this was a quick rundown, little chat of what happened in WWDC 2025. I know I skipped like 90% of the features, but this was just, you know, a quick rundown, little chat. Hope you enjoyed. What features did you like in the new updates? Or is there a feature that you've been waiting for and, you know, didn't get? Sleep scores? Let me know down in the comments below, and while you're there, like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye.